Hello, and welcome to everyone to the Spiritual Relationship Podcast. My name is Ken Hanneman, and this is my wife, Dr. Anno here. The topic today is facing overwhelm, or if you want to say dealing with overwhelm. At work, I've seen people who have this issue and how it changes their performance at work. Personally, I know there are times maybe you feel that way, but I think I manage it well. But I know someone who has
Should I?
quite a lot of experience with
Should I?
that. So
Who could that be?
I'm gonna ask Anne to come in here and maybe explain a little bit more about her experience with dealing with overwhelm.
Okay. Since this is the spiritual relationship, let's talk for a minute about how overwhelm affects the family.
Mm.
Let's talk about that for a minute, okay? And I might be wrong, but I'll just say this. Is it fair to say that this is kind of a female problem for the most part? I want to say that it's that in this conversation,
Mhm.
let's call it a more of a female problem.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
it is. Yeah, I've seen it where women tend to, and my family, I tend to be thinking about everyone in the
Yeah.
family. So it's about the husband, about the kids, about the finance, about what has to be done tomorrow. I mean, there's so many things. And when you're not able to think in a linear way, or you're not able to go from step one to step two to organize your projects or whatever in a practical way,
Mm.
then what happened, I think, it makes you feel overwhelmed, meaning I don't know what to do, what next to do. And I can also maybe think that the husband is not doing
Yeah,
what
because
he
then
should
what
be.
happens is if I feel overwhelmed, I start feeling unstable. And if I feel unstable, then I'm going to start looking at things. I'll give you an example from my childhood first, and then I'll talk about myself. I remember, like, I grew up in my house, and there was clutter in the house or whatever was going on. There was maybe stuff laying around or something like that. My mother was kind of a visual person. Like, she would leave things out because that's the way she functioned better. Like, if you saw her desk, it was craziness. Now, I'm different. I don't like to work like that. But for her, she had to see where everything was. Everything was all over. So every once in a while, she would get overwhelmed. And she would, now you got to realize she has stuff all over the house because she was doing her doctorate and she's got papers and everything. Everything, her stuff is like a bomb exploded like all over the house. And one minute she would get overwhelmed and she would be to my dad, she would be like, "What is this?" And it would be like a pen was like out of place. And she would be like yelling at him because the pen was in the wrong place. I, I, if I share, sometimes I'll share things. Maybe I guess I'll share things here about my family. My family's pretty funny, right? Aren't we funny? But anyway, so that was like a funny example, but it shows you like how overwhelm works. It's like you're going along, and then all of a sudden it seems like everything is on top of you at once. And all of a sudden, you don't know which way to turn. Like you said, you don't know what to do first. You don't know which way to turn. And that feeling of instability or discomfort or not knowing or not being in control is very uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable. So what do? Maybe you get angry. Maybe you get frustrated. Maybe you start blaming others. Maybe you start complaining. This all sounds like, I keep on saying female, but I'm thinking about how it works in the family. Okay. If let's say the woman is, or anybody, it doesn't have to be woman, but in this case, let's just say it's the woman. Let's say the woman is managing the household bills and managing the kids and managing this and managing that and manage. Okay. Now let's say something changes. So this is, Ken will tell you that for me, it was, I got everything going. And sometimes I would say it was like I got plates up on sticks, and I got 8 plates spinning at once. And don't come and tell me something new
Yes. Yeah.
or something unexpected. I'm sitting here balancing all the 8 spinning plates and I'm this big balancing act. Don't bring me in something that's different or new. Because what would happen was I would basically lose it.
Yeah.
I mean, like what would happen? What would I do? I
Right.
mean, I'm much better now.
Yeah.
So what would I do then?
Because when you show that, if you want to say confusion, or it's like, when am I going to do all these things?
Yeah.
And when you say that, the feeling that comes from me, and I guess anybody else who's listening will say, how can I make it better?
Right. How can I help? Let's get it
Yeah,
fixed or
right.
whatever. Yeah.
And then I might say, well, why not refuse to do that action?
Right.
Or maybe if it's possible, I will take it on.
Right.
But a lot of times, if really and truly you don't want to do it, or it's adding to the confusion and the anxiety, then maybe you should refuse to do it.
Do you see how having a linear minded, calm person around is a very good thing, right? Because let's say you didn't have a calm, sensible person around.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you be reacting to the person who's
Definitely.
reacting? So this is where in a family or in a relationship or in a situation, if I feel overwhelmed, it's a pressure on the situation. One thing I can say right off the bat, because this is about facing it, right? It doesn't go away right away, I can say. It goes deeper than just feeling overwhelmed, because you can feel overwhelmed when nothing's happening.
Yes, that's true.
You can feel overwhelmed at the drop of a hat. Something very, very simple can happen and you can feel overwhelmed. I feel in my experience that overwhelm is a personality trait or a feeling ball of helplessness.
Yes.
It comes up and it starts to convince me in that moment that I'm helpless. I'm helpless because nobody will pick up the phone at customer service. I'm helpless because the computer won't work. I'm helpless because this person isn't doing what they're supposed to do. I'm helpless because my boss didn't give me the job. I'm helpless because these people won't take responsibility at work. I'm helpless because I weigh so-and-so amount on the scale. I'm helpless because, you see?
Right.
Like I could make anything going on the excuse for feeling helpless.
Right.
So what I want to share with everyone, overwhelm is not really overwhelm. Overwhelm is helplessness.
Right.
The
Yes. Yeah.
cure, overwhelm is the symptom, is the way of thinking and your attempt to stabilize by making some kind of outside situation the reason that you feel helpless. But helplessness itself is the issue. One way of helping yourself, first thing you can do is write a list.
Yes.
That's a very simple way to say, I have a pen and I have a piece of paper. I'm not helpless. I'm writing down, I got to do this, 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 I got to do this. I'm writing it. It's not conquering me.
Yeah.
Right?
The moment you put something in writing, you begin to realize that there are some things that are more important than others. There are certain things that can wait. There are certain things you can probably say no to.
But the writing itself is the first step because it's getting out of your head.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
And what happened to the way our mind works is that if something is left undone, or there's some kind of emergency or something there, it seems to loop. It seems to go in circles.
Yeah.
So you get the impression or the feeling is like this, it's too much, or whatever. But when you actually write it and you realize, really, it's one thing. Maybe I can ask somebody else to do this, or maybe I could do it while I'm doing, or when I'm going out to do whatever.
Well,
But
yeah. Let me say it this way. If you're coming from ground zero like I was, like you're like helpless, Olympic level helplessness, okay? If you're coming from that, it's going to take a while to grow these skills to get better.
yeah,
But I'm going to tell you what some of the skills are. Write it down. That's one. Next thing, like you just said, look at it with the understanding that I don't have to do it all today. Those two things will automatically shift it. Write it down and realize I don't have to do it all today. Then another thing that you can do is when you really feel overwhelmed in a moment, threaten the situation with complete cutoff.
Yeah.
Like
I don't-
complete cutoff.
I'm not going to die if.
Yeah, I'm not going to die. Like I remember, you help me with this because he's the king of cutoff.
Yeah.
So he's the king of this is not working, bam, cut off. So that really helped me, by the way. It helped me to have courage. See, when you feel helpless, you need courage, right? You need courage to try to stand up for yourself in that moment. Overwhelm is that I don't believe that I can stand up for myself. That's what overwhelm is. So write it down, figure it out, and tell yourself, I don't have to do it today. That's standing up for myself. Next thing is one quick thing. If the computer's not working, the other day, the computer wasn't working, and I started feeling that feeling a little bit. I'm much better now, by the way. I'm much better, right?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
It's pretty much, can you say it's pretty much gone?
Yeah, you're right. I would say yes. It's almost gone because
Wow.
I remember what it was before.
It's
It
pretty
is.
much gone, okay?
Yeah.
But I remember the other day, not too long ago, I was working on the computer and the computer wasn't working right. And I started to have that feeling, like that pressurized feeling inside. I can't do it, not going to work, whatever. And I told myself, I said, I'm going to take this computer and I'm going to throw it in the lake. That's me standing up for myself. In other words, I will
Right.
not be dominated by the computer, okay? Don't be dominated by the laundry. Don't be dominated by the work you have to do. Don't be dominated by your body. Don't be dominated by people. Don't be dominated by anybody. You always have the choice to say no. You always have the choice to do it later. You always have the choice to think about it later. I didn't even know that that was a choice. I had so much of that helplessness was such a way of being for me that I didn't even know how many different choices I had. But now I think, and you're just saying I'm better. So
Yeah.
congratulate myself.
Yeah.
That's the cure.
Right. And the other thing too, if you're gonna speak with your partner,
Yes. This is a good point. How did I
Yeah.
do it without driving you crazy? Did I?
if you write it down
Yeah.
and then we're discussing it, then it becomes something that we can
Work on
we can
together.
work on together. But when you're not even sure about exactly what you want to do now or what is important or what is not important or whatever it is, but you're trying to communicate the overwhelming feeling without actually
Solving the problem.
solving the problem. So it's like what the other person doesn't know how to help you or to see where they could come in and pick up some of the
Pick up some of the
yeah,
slack.
right.
Well, just one last thing about this. This is a very good point, what you said. Maybe I've had overwhelm in the past, and I don't think I've done, even when I was overwhelmed, did I abuse you?
No.
Yeah, I did.
No,
No, I
definitely,
never
yeah.
did. But that's a possibility,
That's
isn't
a
it?
possibility.
Okay.
There could be arguments. There could be blame. There could be all kinds of things going on. And I've seen this happen
Exactly.
in a home.
So what you want to do is you want to take responsibility, but also be honest with yourself. If I have been being abusive or if I have been getting angry, if I've been whatever, maybe I need to look at that too and say, look, this stops now.
Right.
This stops now. There's going to be no more abuse, no more indulging. Like just because I feel helpless, that gives me the right to yell at my partner or yell at my kids
Right.
or whatever.
Yeah.
That's not healthy, number one. And that's not really who I want to be, right?
Yeah.
So that stops now. And now I'm really going to deal with the feeling itself. And I'm going to try these techniques. Write it down, involve your partner, be clear. I mean, one of the things, I really have come a long way, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Because I remember now, even with the house, like if something isn't right in the house, like I'll say to him or to our son, I'll say, look, this really bothers me. I can't tell you what to do, But I really would appreciate it if you guys would do this because this is how I feel more comfortable in the house. That's a clear communication.
Yep.
I'm not yelling. I'm not abusing. I'm not making somebody feel bad. And I'm not allowing myself to be overwhelmed either. I'm not allowing myself to feel helpless. The other last thing, I always have so many last things, but the one last thing is the thing when something new comes in. And this is where I got to keep working on it. I'm not fully there, but I'm almost there. Overwhelm and helplessness, that feeling can come when something unexpected happens.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're used to things happening the way they should be. You're used to routines, and then something unexpected happens. Now, anybody could have a reaction to anything, right?
Yeah.
But
it could be managed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's not like you want to, erase it completely. It's more about managing it where it doesn't affect you, rob you of your happiness or your self-control.
Well, then if you practice getting more proactive, then when the unexpected comes, hopefully you'll be able to become proactive and not have to fall into this helplessness and overwhelm. So good. I hope that you all got something out of that. We're sharing our experiences, and you really can get over it.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Yeah. And the thing is, if you bring it on just a notch, you will feel the benefit.
And everybody else feels better too, right?
I think it's a good thing.
But I didn't abuse. This is the other thing too. Take responsibility for yourself. Wherever you are, take responsibility for yourself. I feel like other people will forgive. If you take responsibility, other people can forgive.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So thank you all for listening, and we will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.